Thanks so much, Mike. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a nice little break. On to the next frontier. This is going to be an exciting session, and we're going to feature Micheldy Rodriguez here with us as he shares two fantastic case studies and takes us all into the metaverse. All from Spain, by the way, right? And he'll share his perspective on the challenges that the metaverse presents for creative production teams. Please welcome Micheldy Rodriguez, Telefonica.
Hi, thank you, Paul, and thank you everyone for coming to this session. I'm Miquel de Rodriguez from, as you have said, Paul, from Spain. I work at Telefonica's Metaverse Creative Technologist and 3D Design Manager. I am also advisor of an avatar design company called Union Avatars, and I mainly create metaverse experiences. This is something that I've been working on since 2002. And I've been working around the metaverse, virtual environments, virtual TV sets, video games, and anything related with multiplayer, virtual interaction, and 3D worlds.
Great. Micheldy, tell us a little bit about Telefonica as a company and also what their approach is to the metaverse, if you would.
Okay, Telefonica is a telco company, the biggest one in Spain, that has also another succursals or filials in Brazil, in UK, in Germany, and has many kind of businesses. I'm working at the Metaverse Chief Office, and our approach to the Metaverse started about 1.5, 2 years ago. Because we see that the Metaverse for us is the next evolution of the internet. I mean, right now we have an internet with 2D flat screens, everything is in 2D, but the Metaverse is, will be in some years, but right now it's starting to make a little change. We are changing from 2D to 3D environments. It's all about not just virtual reality, but augmented reality, mixed reality. All of those technologies are called inside extended reality. And that is what the internet is going forward, putting all the technologies like Web3, blockchain, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and all in one. That's what we call the metaverse, and that's what we think is the next evolution of the internet. And how do we approach that? The metaverse has 7 layers. There are 7 layers of the metaverse. We are working in some of them, but mainly in 3 points. One is the network. As we are a telco company, we have all the network. We provide all the network to millions of people in Spain and abroad, and that's a big point. Other one is the devices. How are we going to enter the metaverse? There are different kind of devices, bigger ones, augmented reality. I think the most known is this one, the one from Meta, the Meta Quest 2. And we are working also with different devices just to shaping that metaverse experiences. And that's the third point, the experiences. The metaverse, we think, is nothing without experiences. So that's why we create a virtual world or virtual experiences for our users, and not only Telefonica customers, but open to everyone. Maybe Telefonica customers will have some benefits in those virtual experiences, but it's open to everyone. And for building these experiences, we work with different partners. One of them is Microsoft. We are working in Microsoft Mesh. Meta, we are making things in Horizon Worlds. Unity, the game engine that in last weeks has been really known for its policy changes. But that's the main 3 partners we are working with.
Interesting. Tell us a little bit about Horizon Worlds and sort of what your first approach to Horizon Worlds was.
Okay, first Horizon World was launched in the States and Canada, and it wasn't available in Europe. It started in UK, but it wasn't available in Europe. And Horizon Worlds is the metaverse platform from Meta. That it's a virtual world that is available right now only with this virtual reality device, but it will be open also to desktop and 3D and mobile. But it's not right now. It's not working on desktop, but they have plans of opening it. And as we are partners of Meta, I wanted to talk about last year in September 2022, that we were just having our big event at Telefonica that was called Metaverse Day. That's where we were going to talk everything about our metaverse strategy and talk about our partners. And suddenly, just 5 weeks before our event, there was a sudden release from Meta for Horizon Worlds in Spain and France. We were in talks with them, but they didn't tell us anything about it. So it was also something really strange for us. We are partners of them, and if we are going to show our partnership with them, we needed to be in Horizon World. We needed to have an experience in there, and that's we only had 5 weeks to create that experience. And how was a little bit of our strategy for creating that experience? Well, it's quite difficult to work in Horizon Worlds because it's all done inside with the device. And the first week was just for learning how to use the platform, talking to Meta for maybe they could give us some insights and some help for creating the experience, following tutorial, and of course defining what brand experience of Telefonica we wanted to create. And then the last 4 working weeks where alongside with Meta, they help us really, really well, although we need to make everything, but we work really hard, and finally we achieve our goal. So for having a virtual experience, creating in Horizon Worlds.
Oh, interesting. And ultimately, what was it like to build an experience inside of the Horizon Worlds?
Well, it was much more different than anything we created before. Maybe it can be something like it was Second Life, that you had to create everything inside the platform. But in this case, we had another issue, that we had to create everything just wearing these glasses all the time, these virtual devices, and it was quite hard because when we first started using these devices, for some people it created some kind of headaches. You couldn't stay more than half an hour working all the time. You need to have rest. And when creating a virtual world in Horizon World, one thing that I like a lot is that it's collaborative. You can be working together with other people inside this world, but only allows for people to work simultaneously. So it's good, but it should be better for us to be able to be creating it with more people at the same time. We had to make some turns for those 30 minutes, and it was really challenging, but also really, really interesting how to approach a new platform for us, because it was opened just in Spain and France for 5 weeks before our event, and I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of ideas of how to create, but we just needed to create an MVP, and not with so many all the features we wanted. We weren't able to create them, but we were able to create an experience that our users have liked a lot. And so let me show you, because I have in here a video showing how to create in Horizon Worlds.
Great.
Okay, this is me recording, and these are some of my colleagues just working. You are all the time working with your hands with the devices. So it was really difficult at first. Not just the creative part of building the 3D objects, but also all the programming part. That was just moving parts of code, and with those parts of codes, creating all the programmation, all the development of how it should work. And here you can see one of my colleagues in very big, because you can resize all the environment, move. I am in here, right, moving around. I can show you a little bit more. And here we can see also other of my colleagues just testing what we were creating while the other ones were building it. It was really fun. And until and here is when I hit the play for testing, and this is how I was moving around the virtual environment, and this is how I could see my colleagues how were building the experience. It's something for me really interesting. We created an experience that was around creating together an sculpture. You just needed to find some spheres, some balls all around the environment, and you just need to pick them and bring them to the sculpture zone and just create connections between those spheres for building a sculpture all together with all the people inside. And for me, it was really a challenge, but also really, really fun to be able to work like that. This is why I love my work, because it's all the time different. There are new platforms coming, new ways of working, and it's something that really makes me feel that I'm in the part I want to be.
Yeah, we talk about working in a hybrid or remote. This is clearly remote, right?
Yeah, this is clearly remote. All my 3D team, they work from home in a full remote mode. Are all scattered around Spain. Everyone in the part of Spain they live, they are working, but we can meet in here and create things together. That's also something really great. This is how I was moving an object, just for showing it a little bit how it was to create. And you just need, for creating the objects, the 3D element, you just have around 15-20 primitive objects that you need to mix and match to create everything. So if it's hard to create with the devices inside, it's also harder just with those primitives, but because you can't create anything here in a 3D software like Blender or 3D Max or Maya. No, you just need to create with this. You see in here that they are very basic forms, but this is what Horizon Works allows. But you can get really great things just working with those primitives. It's something really interesting.
Yeah, sure is. Edgir, I just want to remind everybody that if you have questions, you can type them into the Q&A feature, and we'll try to get to as many of those as we can as we go along. But you mentioned something we talked about. Something similar happened in your next event at Mobile World Congress in 2023. But instead of a new platform, this was about closing another platform, right?
Yeah, that's right. The first case was about the sudden appearance of a new platform in Spain where we need to be. And the second one is about the closure of another one. We were preparing everything in February 2023 for the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona in Spain. We had our presence in there, we had a really big stand, and we also created a digital twin of our stand in AltSpaceVR. AltSpaceVR was, right now it doesn't exist, was part of Microsoft. So that's why our partnership also with Microsoft to create experiences inside. And suddenly, some weeks or maybe 2 months before the Mobile World Congress, the AltSpace announced that they will be shutting down just 1 week after our event. So that was something that, okay, this is something like insane. You have been building a platform for many years. You have a lot of users, a lot of works inside, and you are closing it suddenly with with no notice, nothing about it, something that is working really good. So we had a problem in there that although we had everything prepared for AltSpace, for our event to be showcasing in there, as a telco company in new technologies, we couldn't go to the event in an obsolete platform. I mean, the platform was being closed in 10 days. If we appear there just in that platform, people will say, okay, yes, metaverse, but a closed metaverse. I mean, that was a big issue for us in there. So we needed what did we do? What did we do to avoid being with an obsolete platform? We made a big research around different metaverse platforms. There are hundreds of metaverse platforms. But we needed to find something that was aligned with the visual style and experience we were giving in AltSpace, and also to our way of working. It was really important not to start again the project from zero. We needed to be able to reuse as much as we could. That's how we finally decided creating also the digital twin in spatial.io. That it's really a great platform, but in those days it was not very known. It has been there for around some years, but it didn't have the presence that it has right now. I think Spatial has grown a lot since the closure of AltSpace. I think the most of the developers and the creators of AltSpace have gone to Spatial. And also, as we had our marketing communications, everything was already made and was around AltSpaceVR. The decision we made was to use both platforms, not just changing one with another, but use both. Okay, if we have a platform, everything created in one platform, let's keep it, but also build the same in another platform to get to more users. That's the decision we made. It was difficult because in a big company like Telefonica that they work around tens of thousands of people, the decisions for changing a platform are really hard. So it took us around 1 month also to decide about the migration also to Spatial.
Right. So did you have to redo all of the work that you had previously done?
Not all the work, because we tried to make everything we could with Unity. I mean, Unity is another of our partners. It's a 3D engine where you can create in other softwares. We use, for example, our workflow needs to be really flexible for those cases. So we use Blender for 3D modeling, the free 3D modeling environment. Also, we use Adobe Substance for texturing all the things. And Unity we use for lighting and export settings. In this case, also, just some weeks before the Mobile Congress and after AltSpace said that it was being closed, Spatial made a really interesting move that they created also an exporter from Unity to Spatial. So that was our main point. I mean, we can have all the three models along the texturing that done. We only needed to change to make few retouches for the new platform. Maybe it was different, the number of polygons, light maps. There were some small elements that we needed to change, but the main features were easy to adapt, and they were the same experience in both platforms. So we lost some features from what we had in AltSpace, but we gained another one. We made a mix, and finally it worked really well.
Right. And how was that experience for the users themselves? Was that a good experience?
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good for the users and for us. Finally, we found after the metrics, we found that Spatial got 8 times more visits than AltSpace for our digital twin of the virtual event. That's also because Spatial was more user friendly for entering. You could enter through your desktop, mobile, or virtual headset, and you didn't need anything special. For example, in AltSpace, you needed to have a Microsoft email account or your account logged to Microsoft to enter. In here, it was really smooth, the entering. So this is how I think this is one of the reasons that it got really 8 times more visits. Also, me and the team were inside these two virtual platforms as virtual gurus. Just for anyone that was coming into the platform, they asked some questions about what is Telefonica doing, what are your projects, and something like that. For any people to can answer it. We were also using the headset for entering, so those 30 minutes of turns that were also working in here. And also, for example, the 3D quality of the virtual worlds was exactly the same because it was everything made in Unity. All the lighting, all the texturing was the same. There was just a minor issues, but the 3D quality was exactly the same. The experience, sorry, was also exactly the same in the two platforms. But the main difference was around the avatars. Avatars are, I think, one of the most important thing in the metaverse because they are your representation of yourself inside the metaverse. It's how other people see you. In here, I have put two images. The upper one is from Spatial. The lower one is from AltSpace. And you can see AltSpace is more toony, something more inexpressive. But
Right.
in Spatial, the avatars were more realistic and much more dynamic. They had idle animations. When we had to make turn from going to Spatial to AltSpace, in Spatial, for us, it was really interesting to be there. When we went to AltSpace, there were just avatars standing in there with no movement. It was like something a little bit creepy in that. Yes, just talking about it. So I think that the avatar is the way to engage more the users because the more freedom you have to create your avatar to have natural movements and all of that is the better for the user. And the main difference, I think, also for that difference between the visits in one and another were the avatars.
Right. Right. So with all the platforms, I think you mentioned there are hundreds of these platforms out there. What's your perception about the platforms and the sort of continuous evolution?
Mhm. Yeah, I have put here an image about different platforms. These are Web2 platforms that don't need blockchain or Web3 for entering them, and that can be entered by browser or an app. They don't need virtual devices. In here, you can see tens. I don't know if there are 30, 40 different platforms with the monthly active users. There are so many platforms that, in my opinion, they are too much. And if you go and check them, not one by one, but check many of them, you will see that there is no perfect platform. Each one has its good points and its bad points. That's why I think we are still in the first steps of the metaverse platforms. They need to improve quite a lot, incorporate or implement a lot of about gaming. The features they need to be more closer to games than just a virtual environment for users to interact. We need to see what the gaming platforms like Fortnite, like Roblox, like World of Warcraft have been doing so good for having so many users, and that's what other meta platforms are trying to implement, and they need to implement because they need that user base. And also as creatives, sorry, we need to give a twist to the features of the platform. I mean, this platform offers you some features. Okay, but just think a little bit out of the box. How using those features or just giving them a twist you can get the results you need. I mean, we had a problem that in spatial we couldn't have more than 50 persons in one room. When there were more than 50 persons, another instance of that room was created, but we were sharing the screen, and and that screen sharing was not replied in that another instance. So that's why we need to have 2 or 3 of us people, just in case another instance was created. This other person needed to act as a host to share the screen. So, okay, it has its limitation, but just give a thought and a twist on how to get your objectives inside those constraints of that platform. Because I think that the technology is here to help us as creatives reach our goals. I mean, I don't want to use a technology because it's mainstream, everyone uses it. No. Does it add something to our product, to our project, to our experience? Okay, then use it. If it doesn't apport any kind of value, why do you have to use that? So I think that the technology needs to be in help of the creative mind.
Yeah, so true, so true. So a question that I had, and actually somebody from the audience is now asked it, so I'll put it to you. I'm wondering how AI has impacted the work that you're doing with the metaverse.
Yeah, AI will be a part of the metaverse, and right now, for example, it's being used for creating virtual avatars, NPCs, to help you or to guide you through the virtual experiences. This is one way, one of the most common ones that is being used AI. Another one will be that through AI you could change the virtual world according to your needs. I mean, if you have like a helper in AI, you could say, okay, right now this virtual world is daylight. Change it to nightlight, to the night, or I want my house in this metaverse to be in the beach or in the mountain. So that's how AI can help you as a virtual assistant, as creator, because right now AI for creating 3D objects, it's not prepared for real time environments. It has too many polygons. The UVs are not well done. It needs to improve a lot to be able to just through prompts in any AI program to create those 3D. It would help us, but I think it's just a matter of creativity. It will help the creatives achieve their goals.
Yeah, yeah. So, and lastly, we're almost out of time. For someone out there that's listening, and they're a creative production professional, sort of in this sort of standard, sort of typical ways of doing print advertising or video production or any of the sort of social media platform type of creative production that's happening out there in the world in mass. How can they get started with the metaverse? What skills do they need to develop? What kind of online resources might there be to get started?
There are many resources, and in different platforms, they have many tutorials for how creating. They have some basic assets for creating your worlds. But I think what do you need? I think you need to know a little bit about gaming. I mean, I was in charge in Telefonica for building a 3D team for creating all these experiences, and I found people from different backgrounds to put them all together inside the project. I mean, I had one that has been working with at video games many years. I had another creative director that has been creating 3D representations, for virtual stands, for things like that. Another one is an architect for making all the structures, all the 3D environments, all how the user flow will be inside those environments. Another specialist in user interface. I mean, what do you need to start? You need to find mm, a platform, check some of them, find the one you like most, and enter the world you find interesting, and find them books. I mean, just check what's in there and try to make it better. Find what you don't like about it and try to create your own with the mistakes you have found and the good things you have found in another. Just be a metaverse user, just be an avatar inside the metaverse.
So interesting. So interesting. Well, thank you so much, Mikhail. We're out of time. Great presentation. Really so interesting. And it's like the next frontier. I think we're all going to be involved here someday, and you're clearly out ahead of all of us. Thanks so much. Great to see you.
Thank you all, and thank you all for coming and for hearing me.
We'll see everybody in the next session.
Okay, bye.